speaking of Nvidia, let's talk about Nvidia. Jensen said that they went from 95% marketplace in China to 0. They said they're officially out of China. And he said like he didn't directly go at the administration, but he said like I don't see how any policymaker would think that would be a good idea for us to be 100% out of China. So is that long term bad for their stock, or is this something that he's just playing a political game?
You have to learn you can't play both sides, and you should have seen this with Apple. That's why Apple has had considerable investment into India. But if we are in an international war with China, and China technologically wants to kill us, you can't sell a version of a chip, it being an American company, to the ops. You should have known this. This is the part where you can't be greedy. And I know you have Rockefeller-esque aspirations, but you can't fund both sides of this technological war. You got to pick a side. Either go pick up and put Nvidia in China, or you're going to help America win this war. This is like the moon landing thing all over again. This is bigger than your corporate aspirations. America's fighting tooth and nail to not fall to the empire that's set to knock us out proverbially. So no, you can't sell your fucking chips over there to them and make a Chinese version of Hopper or anything else while we're in war. And I appreciate China even taking a stand saying, hey, no, we don't even want your product. We want to build our thing here. And this race is not going to slow down anytime soon. So, I mean, as a result, from a revenue standpoint, it may hurt, but I think Nvidia and executive leadership and Jensen is going to find a way to make up for that profit loss by partnering with other countries, probably India, and making us more competitive. Because if the only thing you can do is work with what you have to find a way. And it's a great lesson too. Sometimes you don't appreciate the blessing of the windfall because you think you can recreate that magic elsewhere. Sometimes the best thing that you have is right in front of you. Take advantage and take care of that.
But they have to get back in China though. I mean, you cannot be absent in the biggest market in the world that's only getting bigger.
So that was my.
You gotta pick a side though. The government's not gonna let them fund our fucking destruction unless there's vested interest in the destruction of the country. You don't get to pick. You can't be on both sides of the war. We saw with Apple.
Apple's still doing business in China though.
Yeah, they sell as much.
Not as.
But check this out, right? Because this is interesting, right? So imagine, let's use Apple. Imagine Apple says that they have 0% market share in China. What do you think happens to the Apple stock?
It'll slide down, but of course it'll recover because then with Nvidia, with 45 for 50% profit margin, and with them having such a high price product and high demand, which is rare to have a incredibly high price product with that kind of demand, they're going to have to find a way to work it out. Now, if this was 2016, it wouldn't matter. We're not in 2016.
Well, I'm just saying that because Jensen said this over the weekend, and Nvidia didn't move, right? Like the stock didn't move.
Yeah,
they literally said we're in terms of Nvidia, that's the number 2 market for them. Yep. They said they have 0% market share, and it was a fractional slide. Like it might have went down 40 cents.
Yeah.
Right. Which tells you how strong the demand is in America
absolutely
from these American companies. But you said something important, and it was the geographical play, right? If it's not China, then who? Right. When we were talking about Apple, it was okay. We saw them in India, right? If we can't get more, maybe we get a new demographic of customers. And so you start thinking about where Nvidia has been making its moves. And the fingers all point back to the UAE.
Well, that's where the original circular investment came from.
So now, if they lose that market, right? Because if you in that scenario, you would see like
a big difference.
It's a big difference. I get it, but the number of companies that can spend at that capex level
is rare.
How many can do that from a Chinese perspective? How many companies can do it?
A lot, but then the government itself.
The government can, but they're fixated on saying, "Hey, we're going to build up." Even Alibaba,
they want to build their own. They don't want our product. That's the issue. Now, Rashad, I agree with your point. Will it help Nvidia's market cap if they could? But they're telling him, we don't even want your work. Even if ours is inferior, we want to
Or
build our own.
this is where I was going, because we gave those dates last week. I was giving out those dates about the trade agreement. What if this is a part of that trade agreement, right? In order for us to get this trade agreement through, here's what you have to take.
Jensen Huang is not Chinese.
No, he's not.
He's from Taiwan.
Yeah, he's not. Somebody put that in the chat.
Now, that's a difference. Even though Chinese to China, Taiwan is a part of China. To Taiwan, Taiwan is independent of China.
And if you don't take what was ours,
that goes back to TSM.
mhm.
That goes back to the pact that United States of America government signed with Taiwan 50 years ago to guarantee protection of Taiwan. And that goes back to the aggression that China has shown Taiwan. And that goes back. So all of this. So what he said was actually, that's why I'm highlighting what he said, because I'm not saying it just to correct him. Depending on what side, you're right and you're wrong.
Mhm.
Depending on which side of that river or ocean you're on.
Mhm.
And that is trillions of dollars
Mhm.
and global warfare that could potentially happen because of one country says that they belong to Taiwan and the other country said that they don't belong to China.
Here's what happens, even for an invasion. This is even if they invade Taiwan and they try to take over TSM.
You gonna tell it?
I mean, it's documented. The ASML,
Okay.
They have a kill switch.
Yeah. They're all
Literally
TSM.
the machines will cut off, so you can take over the property, but you can't do anything with it. And they can do that. They can do that, trigger that remotely.
Yep.
So there wouldn't even be a point of even trying to do it, because if it happens, they cut it off and then nothing. You can't use that fab anymore. And then the number one fab becomes where? United States.
But if I find a little hacker to get into y'all love,
or if I send companies to your country to figure out how to build your machine.
Hello. And everyone doesn't have high moral compass.
And who would do that? No, but the UAE play is interesting because, yes, if you look at the announcement when obviously the president was there, but I mean, Elon was there, Sam Altman was there, Lisa Su was there, Jensen Huang was there. They talked about the largest data set being built in Saudi.
Tech is, I mean, UAE is the big venture that everybody in tech has to run to.
It changed everything for this scenarios from April.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And maybe before that.
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. It's an interesting business is interesting. Technology is even more cutthroat and interesting. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like Jared Kushner. He was
I'm gonna text your sister of mine right now. Hold on. Stop Rashad from going. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Oh, the guy who appeared on, he was on 60 Minutes. That's what he was referring to, right?
Yeah, 60 Minutes. That's my favorite show outside of Market Monday.
He was on there last night. Yeah.
He was talking about how they was saying that he brokered the peace deal between Israel, Hamas, him and Steve Witkin, him and another guy. But they were saying there's a conflict of interest because he's done so much business in Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that it's not a conflict of interest because he's not making money. Long story short, America innovates, the Middle East invests, China copies, and Europe regulates, and Africa just gets plunged. That's the global cycle that we're in right now. The UAE is investing in everything, not just UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all those Gulf states are investing.
They are the funding source.
Europe is doing nothing but regulating.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're in shambles.
Yeah.
America's innovating. China sees what America does, and then they just copy and they just take it. They take IP at an alarming rate.
Yes.
From fashion to technology. They got whole Apple iPhone stores. That's not even
Apple. Yep.
And that's a trademark lesson in itself. Like when you get something trademark, having to trademark it internationally, that's a whole different.
But they won't even.
Sometimes they don't
China. I mean, what are you going to do? And Apple knows that that China is so strong that they just got to deal with it.
Yep.
Chanel. All these people know. Like you go to China. I say that to say they're not just they're not just knocking off handbags. They're going to knock off Nvidia chips.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
That's just they're trying to do.
So that and that again, some of these signs would have usually had a downturn in the market, right? When there was a talk, and everybody here remembers when DeepSeek was the conversation on that Sunday night, Monday morning, my gosh, it was like, oh my gosh.
That was market manipulation too, though.
Well, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Nvidia is not worth it. They've come up with a chip that's more efficient. Look how many GPUs they really need, and they did this. And then you come to find out that wait, that was fabricated. In fact, they're actually using Nvidia GPUs, right? So this weekend, Alibaba did the same thing. They said we don't need 1,000 Nvidia GPUs. We can get the same job done with 300 of them. Again, market doesn't move.
And the thing is, when a country is willing to stand on its morals, the difference between the two leadership ideologies is that we'll break off pieces of our country and sell them off and put the country into ruin. We have to remember that China wants its revenge. We're very short-sighted in our thinking. And while other countries see weakness in us in terms of leadership, debt to GDP, management of resources, we sold our toll roads and rivers and waterways and sell poison at every turn, they are in attack mode. America is one of the few superpowers in history. If you study history, Rashad, I know you're a historian, that we're the only superpower that thought in 3 and 5 year cycles. We don't plan long. And it's coming to bite us. But what do I know?